2:30 in the morning, and I know that because I've checked my phone on the sly every 10 minutes for the last 3 hours. Beto stinks like salami, and he's breathing pretty hard as we toss the last of our bags over the brick wall separating Hoffman Gardens from the rest of Spring Lake. Tin clatters, but the sound is muffled by humidity. He sees me check the time again, and I know what he's about to say next, so I beat him to the punch. "Hey man, you're breathing kinda hard. Do we need to call an ambulance?" Everyone laughs. "Yeah, Beto, you having a heart attack?" Someone calls from the dark. It's Eddie, and he's at least 20 feet away. Everyone laughs again, except for Beto. He just sweats some more and kicks at the rocky, sandy ground. We trudge along the wall, stubborn dead grass poking at the bottom of our thin rubber soles. Eddie and his boys are joking a few feet in front of us. Beto huffs and puffs a few steps behind. D2 speaks for the first time since we left the house. His voice is low and kind of hostile. "You're an idiot." The words swim a lap from his lips to my ears, splashing humidity into my hair. "You should be home right now." "What's that?" Beto peps up, barely getting the words out. He's just itching for a chance to take a crack at me, but D2 doesn't give him a shot. "She said you smell like a deli, bro. Lay off the subs, man." Everyone laughs again, even Beto. Eddie's feet thud against the rungs of a rusted ladder that will take us over the concrete wall. One by one, we make our way up the ladder and crawl over the wall. I slide across on my belly, trying not to wince as the bricks dig into my skin before I let go and drop into the grass. Someone makes a joke about Beto starting an earthquake, but no one laughs out loud. We're all over the wall, and it's quiet. Too quiet for a group of 14-year-olds. We trek across the soft grass of Spring Lakes Park, back to where we tossed our bags, the dust in our shoes caking into mud. Then it begins. First, the unfurling zippers, bouncing peas, and the air is buzzing even before the first stroke is laid. We fan out. I stick close to D2, who hands me a can of white paint. "How'd you know that thing is called a pea?" he asked, tying a bandana around his nose. He motions for me to do the same. I don't want to say Google, and I struggle for an alternate answer. Hesitation gives me away. Always does. "Never mind," he sighs. I can't see his mouth, but that almost sounded like a smile to me. I watch him rifle through a baggie of white plastic caps, all of which look identical to me. He compares 2 caps before settling on the one that has flecks of dried pink paint on it. These caps control the diameter of the paint spray. I know that from Google, too. We work quietly. He maps out the rough outline. I'm in charge of shadowing, and I roll my eyes at the irony that's lost on my brother. The smell of fresh grass is overwhelming, intensified by the hush of Spring Lake Park. Just over the wall, I hear a siren. D2 winks at me. When we were kids, I couldn't fall asleep until I heard a siren go by, and many nights he would wait by the foot of my bed until one went by and I could go to sleep. Flashes of blue and red spring from the other side of our canvas, like smoke signals, and then disappear into the maze that is Hoffman Gardens. It doesn't stop our painting. The chemically smell of spray paint has choked out most of the grass smell, making it a little easier to breathe. We hear a fight that sounds almost like our Aunt Linda and her boyfriend Hector. We paint for hours. At one point, we hear the sound of car windows being smashed in. D2 and I stop and stare at each other as Hector's wails start to fill the air. He's only 10 feet away. A door slams, and we continue to paint. The noise of Hoffman Gardens and the radiating silence of Spring Lake converge at the wall, thickening the already dense cloud of humidity and paint above our head. Spring Lake Park is a very nice euphemism for 3 miles of well-tended grass and trees whose sole purpose is to cushion the tax-paying citizens of Spring Lake from their subsidized cousins in Hoffman Gardens. The brick wall wasn't enough. Vito starts to cough. He takes off his bandana and is using it to wipe off the sweat as he surveys his work. The glow of 2 cigarette butts a few yards away lets me know Eddie and his boys are also done. It's just as well. Things are finally quieting down in Hoffman Gardens, and the ink blue sky is starting to crumble above us. We toss our bags over the wall and start heading back. Scaling the ladder and climbing over the wall feels like second nature now. I'm sweaty and sticky. My hands are stained with layers of fine white mist that have dried into a weird, rough shell that cracks when I twist my fingers. My skin looks so brown against it. D2 laughs and elbows me in the rib. Eddie and Dennis roll their eyes. I look at my brother. He hasn't got a speck of paint on him. His hair, dark and glossy. He doesn't look tired, even though we've been up all night. It's almost 6 a.m., and the bus to school will be here in an hour. Next time wear a hat, he tugs on my hair, which has become stiffened with paint. I look like an electrified ghost whose skin is peeling. He hands me a bottle of turpentine from his bag and tells me to stop picking at it. The sky is just starting to blush as we shuffle across the broken glass of Hector's Honda Civic back to our units. Eddie and Dennis cut left to their parking lot. Beto shuffles down the block to his apartment. He doesn't live in the gardens. Linda's brewing coffee, and I can smell it as we make our way down the fluorescent hallway. I look through her kitchen and see Hector feeding the baby with one hand and stroking her back with the other while she fixes him breakfast. La Vieja Mendoza is planted on a cracked white lawn chair next to her front door. She lives across the hall from us and has cluttered the entire hallway with a collection of potted plants she calls her garden. As I unlock our unit, she pretends to tend to her caladiums. D2 heads inside and flops down on the couch. I say a quiet buenos dias to La Vieja. She pretends not to hear me, but I see her, shaking her head between puffs on her cigar. She mutters disapproval. I wonder if it's for crawling over the wall or for climbing back.